Hi, it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here for your next PB&J card class. Today I'll be sharing a home decor item created using Penny Black stamps and Faber-Castell Stampers Big Brush markers and gelatos. Here's a look at the project. We'll be using new Penny Black stamps Petal Party and Flower Flourish. To begin, we'll be creating this wooden bird. This is just a wooden home decor piece that I picked up at my craft store. And I'm going to begin by using Flower Flourish, and I'm inking this with Versamark ink. Before I stamp it on the bird, I am going to quickly rub that with an anti-static bag, and then I'll just lay the stamp on top of the bird. I'm applying pressure where the bird's body is. And then I'm going to sprinkle this with white embossing powder. Next, I'll apply heat to set the embossing powder. And when you're working on wood, you just want to be sure you don't hold your heat gun too close or stay in one place too long. So once that's set, I'm ready to stamp the other half of the bird. So again, I'm using Versamark ink, and then I'm going to lay that down and line it up where I left off. And if it doesn't perfectly line up, that's fine. There'll be like a little bit of a seam there, but we're going to put something over that, so it's no big deal. And then again, I'm going to sprinkle that with white embossing powder. Tap off the excess, and then heat to set. Now I'm using Faber-Castell gelatos, and these are a creamy stick of pigment, and I'm just going to color directly onto the wood and then rub it with my finger to blend. And I am working in small sections because it's easiest to blend if you rub it with your finger right away after you apply the color. So I started with red, orange, and now kind of a golden yellow. And when I rub that, you'll see I kind of overlap it into the orange so you get a nice transition. And this just glides on really easily onto the wood. Now green. And you do want to wipe your fingers before you blend it with your fingertips so you don't pull some of that previous color into the new color. So that I've added blue and then a little bit of purple. If you wanted that background to be a little less vibrant, you could paint on top of that with just water, and it would blend the colors even more. I'm just wiping off my fingers before moving to the next color. And then you can also color this right along the edge of the bird. And you'll do that all the way around. Once you're done, I'm just taking a baby wipe and I'm removing some of that gelato from the embossed areas. And I just sort of wrap it around my fingertip, and then I'm wiping it off the embossed areas and sort of moving that to a clean area on the baby wipe as I go. Especially when I move to a new color, I want to be sure that I'm finding a clean spot on the baby wipe for my finger. Now, if you wanted to do this faster, you could just wipe the whole area with the baby wipe, not be quite as particular to stay on the embossed area, but it will lighten the background color a little bit more. So here I've finished, and now I'm just taking a dry paper towel and I'm just buffing over the top just to remove a little bit more. But you can see it kept a nice vibrant color beneath. And then all I did was add a sentiment from the Petal Party set, some twine, and some pearls. Now this is the next bird, and on this bird we're going to be using the new stamp set Petal Party. Just taking that off and laying it on my acrylic block. I am rubbing an anti-static bag on top of the bird because we'll be doing some embossing. I'm using VersaFine ink and Onyx Black. And I'm just going to stamp this right onto the bird. And I'll continue to do so. Just turning the stamp and filling in the spaces. And we'll get one more here on the tail. Then I'm sprinkling this with clear embossing powder. And I like to emboss this when I color because it makes it easier to stay in the lines, and it also makes it easier to apply the gelatos around that area because the embossing creates a ridge on the stamped image. So I applied heat to set that. Now I'm using Stampers Big Brush markers. These are India ink and they really work nicely on the wood, so you can just color directly onto the wood. I'm starting with my lightest color for this flower. Then I'm going to add my shading with a darker color. And I'm just feathering that sort of at the base of the petals. And then I'm going to go back and blend that with a medium color with an orange. And then you'll also see once I apply the color, I can kind of blend it also with my fingertips. So I'm just rubbing my fingertip over the color that I've area that I've colored, and that blends it as well. So it's just really quick and easy and stays nice and vibrant on the wood. I'll follow the same process for the leaf and the stem, starting with the lightest green. Feather on the darker green for shading. And then I'll blend that out with the lightest color. I follow that same process to color the rest of the flowers in. Now I'm taking a green gelato and I'm just coloring that sort of at the base of the bird's body for the grass. And again, I'm coloring and then blending with my fingertip, working in small sections so it's easiest to blend. And here again, you could also add water if you wanted to get up real close to the stems or the flowers without rubbing that gelato into the coloring that you did on the flowers. But I'm just using my fingertip for sort of an aged effect or almost a vintage look. And here I'm grabbing the blue for the sky. So this is just another blue gelato. And don't be shy when you color that onto the wood. The harder you press and the more you color, the easier it is to blend with your fingertip. If you apply a lot of gelato, you may want to spray this with a fixative if it's really thick on there. But I find that if you just give it a day or two to dry as it is, it really doesn't rub off on your fingertips and you don't need to bother about using a fixative. And you can see here's the finished bird. I just added a punched butterfly from Martha Stewart and another from Spellbinders. And here's one final look at the set of two. For details and more information, visit the Penny Black website at www.pennyblackink.com. Thanks so much for watching, and here's a list of all the supplies used.